सर्वेलेंस ऑफिसर भी ज्वाइंट सर।
हाँ जी,
मैं कह सर्वेलेंस ऑफिसर ज्वाइंट।
अच्छा शशि पॉल, डर लगता भरावा शशि पॉल तो। चलो जी, यूट्यूब भी हम लाइव हैं और रिकॉर्डिंग भी हमारी लाइव है, तो थैंक यू वेरी मच। ऑफिशियली आई वेलकम यू ऑल। हमारे 4 दिन बड़े अच्छे फैकल्टीज और बड़ी अच्छी पार्टिसिपेशन रही। अशोक बत्रा जी की पीपीटी मेरे पास आ गई है, तो मैं वो आज ही आपको कन्वर्ट करके आई विल ट्राई कि या तो मैं मेल कर दूंगा जो अशोक बत्रा जी का जिन्होंने अटेंड किया था, या फिर मैं देखता हूँ वो उसको व्हाट्सएप पे भी भेज दूंगा, सबको व्हाट्सएप पे भी सेंड कर दूंगा। और सिद्धांत जी की आई एम फाइंडिंग कि वो इन्होंने भेजी है या अभी, नहीं तो मंगवा लूंगा। 2 ही पीपीटी अभी तक हुई हैं। तीसरे दिन हमारे संदीप गोयल जी थे, उन्होंने कोई पीपीटी इस्तेमाल नहीं की। और चौथे दिन थे पीयूष जी। पीयूष जी ने पीपीटी की थी गौरव जी कल?
की थी सर, ई-वे बिल पे की।
चलो
इनवॉइसिंग
पीयूष जी की पीपीटी भी मंगवा के तीनों
वेरी
अच्छी
ब्रीफ,
शेयर कर देंगे।
वेरी ब्रीफ पीपीटी।
हाँ,
अच्छी थी
और
काफी।
आज हमारा 5th डे है। तो मनमोहनपुरी जी आपसे डर लगता है, जरा तारीफ करनी है कि क्लास लगानी है? जरा आपको बनाया है, जरा
सर ने आते ही हैंड रेज कर दिया।
पैनलिस्ट में
सर
सर भेज दिया, आपसे डर लगता है हमें।
एमपी सर पूछो। नहीं पूछो।
आगे है पुरी साहब, आप पैनलिस्ट में हो। तो ये हमारा आज हमारा Day-5 है। जैसे हमने आपको बताया था कि आज हमारे Day-5 में हम जो कवर करने जा रहे हैं वो इंडस्ट्रीज कवर करने जा रहे हैं। इंडस्ट्री में अर्चना जी आज हमारी फैकल्टी हैं, मैं अर्चना जी का स्वागत करता हूं। पीयूष जी भी जुड़ चुके हैं। आज हमारे फैकल्टी हैं अर्चना जी। अर्चना जी पहले भी हमारे जीएसटी कोर्सेज में आ चुके हैं। ही इज मार्वलस फैकल्टी। तो आज इनके जो टॉपिक हैं वो हॉस्पिटल इंडस्ट्री, जो हॉस्पिटल में काफी चेंजेस आई हैं इंडस्ट्री में। होटल इंडस्ट्री का ये आपको अमेंडमेंट्स के बारे में थोड़ा बताएंगे, और उसके बाद जितने भी लॉजिस्टिक के रिलेटेड क्या प्रोविजन हैं जीएसटी की, स्पेसिफिकली जीटीए, तो ये आज वो कवर करेंगी। जो आपकी इंडस्ट्री रह गई है तो वो हम पार्ट 2 में जब लॉन्च करेंगे तो उसमें कवर करेंगे। उसमें मेरे हिसाब से फूड इंडस्ट्री, उसमें कोई ज्यादा चेंजेस नहीं है। फूड इंडस्ट्री, देन अगर कोई होटल स्पेसिफिक है, जहां कुछ और कुछ भी रह गया तो वो हम सेकंड, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया रिफंड वगैरह, वो हम सेकंड पार्ट में आपके लिए लेके आएंगे बड़ी जल्दी। इंडेज का भी और जीएसटी का भी पार्ट 2, दैट विल बी फॉर 3 डेज ओनली, मैक्सिमम 3 डेज, बोथ 3 डेज इंडेज, 3 डेज जीएसटी पार्ट 2। तो मैं पीयूष जी को कहूंगा, हालांकि अर्चना जी, मैं कल गिरीश जी से बात कर रहा था, गिरीश जी कहते हैं यार तू कोर्स बड़े करता है, अब कौन कौन कर रहा है? मैं कहा जी वो बत्रा जी कर रहे हैं, सब आपके चेले चेलियां ही हैं जो एसआरसीसी से पढ़े हैं। ये अर्चना जी भी एसआरसीसी से ही हैं, तो ये भी गिरीश जी के स्टूडेंट रहे हैं। तो मैं इतना तो आपको बता ही दिया, मेरे पास ज्यादा प्रोफाइल है नहीं इनका, तो मैं पीयूष जी को कहूंगा कि वो जरा ज्यादा मक्खन लगाएं, मैं तो इससे ज्यादा नहीं लगा सकता। पीयूष, ओवर टू पीयूष जी।
थैंक यू अश्विनी जी। ऐसा है जी कि मक्खन लगाने का काम ज्यादा सही नहीं है। आजकल मक्खन खाने से सेहत ज्यादा गड़बड़ हो जाती है और बंदा मोटा हो जाता है मेरे जैसा। तो वी डोंट वांट अर्चना जी टू बी दैट। शी इज वेरी स्लिम, फिट एंड गॉर्जियस लेडी। थैंक यू वेरी मच अर्चना जी फॉर accepting our request of joining this session. As already told by Ashwini ji, she is SRCC alumni, और she is one of the best faculties on GST in India. जितने भी टॉपिक पे इनकी मास्टरी है, बहुत बार टॉपिक को इन डेप्थ इस हिसाब से डील करती हैं कि बंदा सोच में पड़ जाता है यार मैं दोबारा पढ़ लूं, मैंने जीएसटी पढ़ा भी है कि नहीं पढ़ा, जितनी डिटेल में ये चीज बता देती हैं। और आज आप लोग ये चीज नोटिस करेंगे दैट शी इज क्या कहेंगे कि हम विराट कोहली हैं, सचिन तेंदुलकर हैं, सुनील गावस्कर हैं, सब कुछ है। ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लूंगा क्योंकि हम लोग ऑलरेडी अपने शेड्यूल से 15-20 मिनट पीछे चल रहे हैं। नाउ आई विल रिक्वेस्ट अर्चना जी टू प्लीज कैरी ऑन विद द सेशन।
नहीं, अर्चना जी का प्रोफाइल अभी आ गया है मेरे पास कहीं से, मैं थोड़ा इंट्रोड्यूस कर दूं। मतलब उम्र से ज्यादा, मतलब कहते हैं इनका एक्सपीरियंस ज्यादा है, लेकिन मतलब क्वालिफाई हैविंग मोर देन 13 इयर्स ऑफ क्रॉस फंक्शनिंग एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ अकाउंट्स फाइनेंस। लेकिन आपके डेलिब्रेशन से एक्सपीरियंस आपका झलकता है कि 50 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है आपको। तो रियली जो हमारे पहले पार्ट हैं बहुत अच्छे रहे हैं। वास्ट एक्सपीरियंस इन हैंडलिंग इंटरनल ऑडिट, फोरेंसिक ऑडिट, जीएसटी ऑडिट, एईओ सर्टिफिकेशन ऑडिट, कस्टम ऑडिट, हर तरह के ऑडिट में आपकी एक्सपर्टाइज है. Then provide advisory and litigation assistance services in relation to indirect taxes by the multinational companies. He is also represented reputed corporate houses at service tax, VAT, obviously GST, custom department for appeals and refund cases to CSET. अभी तो इसका तो रचना जी मेरे ख्याल में बढ़ा ही नहीं, अभी कह रहे थे ना, मतलब अभी नेक्स्ट ईयर के लिए उन्होंने कर दिया मेरे ख्याल में ट्रिब्यूनल का ना आगे डेट.
ट्रिब्यूनल अभी फाइनल नहीं हुआ जी.
हाँ. हैंडल्ड पोएम, POEM, ये क्या है, सुनाने वाली पोएम है या ये कोई फॉरम है जी?
जी सर, अभी इतनी जल्दी नहीं आने वाली.
अच्छा, मैंने तो सोचा आप पोएम भी सुना दोगे, मतलब ये पूरा POEM ही है. Then Vicky and PhD Chamber of Commerce, he is the speaker on that and various platforms at government as well as non-government institutes and obviously at our platform also. Thank you very much. I welcome Rachana ji, Archana Jain ji, founder Archana Jain and Company, to kindly deliberate us on the topic of industry-wise specific GST.
Thank you. This highly prestigious forum. Thank you, Ashwani sir. Thank you, Piyush sir. You have really honored me with your humble words of introduction, and you people have made my day. So I'm just a student of GST, and yes, I'm a humble student of Girish Ahuja sir. And honestly speaking, this passion for taxation has been embedded by him only in my early days. When I was in college, I used to wonder, how come a person can be so energetic and so knowledgeful that he has learned everything by heart? Section, subsection, clause, case laws. So that has been the inspiration and miles to go before I sleep. That is my fund of life. So I'm learning every day, and I'm a student of life. I'm a student of GST, and my serious apologies and thank you to all the participants for bearing with me. They have to bear with me for another 17 minutes. I'm traveling from a hearing and officer came late, so everything schedule has been delayed. So, I mean, I can't help that, but thank you so much to all my audience. And I'm really amazed to see that huge number of audience present. And as sir has already shared that this is not for CPRs. So this shows the true, what should I say, thirst for learning that your is having. So I would like to congratulate this forum, my heart. And yes, sir, before I start my deliberation, आपने जो announcement करी है, health को लेके एक लीजिएगा. I would love to be a participant body along with our healthy minds. So I welcome all the participants on this forum. Please excuse me for 15 minutes. I'll switch off my camera so that the signal does not get distorted. And once I'm at my office, definitely I'll be doing it in a normal manner. So I'll try to share my screen first. I hope my screen is visible to all.
हाँ जी, visible जी.
I don't know why I'm not able to make it full screen. I'm okay. Yes. So we'll start with healthcare sector. I know this is one of the important sector, and okay, let me understand from my audience any specific point that they are looking for with respect to healthcare sector, apart from the latest amendment that has been made under this sector.
आप लोग चैट बॉक्स में या क्यूए में रिप्लाई कर सकते हैं जी.
Ji, please, I just want to have a brief idea from my learned audience that is there anything specific they are looking forward with respect to healthcare sector? Any problem that they are facing? One advisory or one notification they all must have been receiving from the department nowadays. What they are saying is that whatever the amendments has been incorporated under GSTR 3B. That means whatever information you have to put in specific format or specific tabs, you need to put that for 2021. And they are giving this notices to all the SSCs. Kindly make sure that your disclosures are as per the latest requirement of 3B. Apart from that, any other person having any issues? I'm still waiting. I have not seen anybody. So no participation with respect to addition on this point. Okay, so I'll start with healthcare. So levy and tax rate. We all know that healthcare has the levy. That means the supplies has been levied under Section 9. But yes, they has been exempted by exemption notification under the provisions of Section 11. So Section 9, levy and collection is there as per CGST Act and as per IGST Act, Section 5. So subject to the provision of subsection 2, there shall be levied a tax called CGST on all interstate supplies of goods and services or both, except on the supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption on the value determined under Section 15 at such rate not exceeding 20%. That means all the supplies which are pertaining to your healthcare, they are also taxable under Section 9. So that means levy is there. So when levy is there, that means taxability is there. And they have also specified that most of the services are, which are not exempted, they are falling under the tax rate of 18%. Now, we all know that certain healthcare services has been exempted. So that exemption has given under the exemption notification. So these are the services. My highlight point will be room rent. We all know now the exemption has been withdrawn and now it has become a conditional exemption. Any room tariff, when it is exceeding 5,000 rupees, apart from special categories of room like ICUs, now whenever the room tariff is exceeding 5,000 rupees, now it has become taxable. I really fail to understand the rationale behind this taxability, and also not very impressed with the statement that has been given by Honorable Minister in this regard, that when somebody can afford the medical facilities, then what is the harm in paying additional amount of GST? I mean, they fail to understand that medical facility is something which is not used by choice, but it is something which is by compulsion or nobody wants. God forbid, and only we will looking forward for the healthcare, basically healthcare facilities. But anyways, so most of the things has been taken care the way they were, except for the room tariff. Then yes, sale of medicine to your outpatient is always taxable. Food supply to the attendant and the visitors was always taxable. Hospital having rental income of the premise, like they have some shops that has been leased out by the hospitals, or some canteen facilities that has been leased out to someone outsider. So they all are falling under the ambit of taxability. And even the room, in case they have some facility or dormitory facility which is being provided for the visitor, or the attendants, the same is being 18%, and the way they had been put in the notification, so that definition which are falling under the definition, which are falling under that category are exempted. But otherwise, in case no exemption is being granted under the notification, exemption notification, then the rate of tax that has been levied on these kind of services are 18%. So yes, entry number 74, very, very important entry for of notification 12/17 of CT, that means central taxes, and entry number 77 of the notification 9/17 of IGST Act, which says what has been exempted. So healthcare service by a clinical establishment and authorized medical practitioner, that means MBBS doctor, or paramedics like your physiotherapist, your nurses, etc. And another category that has been exempted are service provided by way of transportation of patients in an ambulance other than those specified in A above. So these are the services. That means your healthcare service. Now, who is going to provide these healthcare services? They must be provided by either a clinical establishment that has been defined. The definition has been given in the exemption notification itself, or through authorized medical practitioner. That again has been defined, that who will be the authorized medical practitioner, or the paramedics. Now, this paramedics has not been defined under GST law. Now, who can be the service recipient? Unlike other notification where they have mentioned the category of the service recipient, here the service recipient is any person. Obviously, healthcare service hai to any natural person ही होगा. Services, or apart from these healthcare services, what are the services? Transportation of a patient in an ambulance other than those specified in A above. That can be any private ambulance runners are also there. So even any person and recipient can also be any person. Section 12/2017. Now, what are healthcare services actually meant? So they have defined that any services by way of diagnosis or treatment or care. So that means diagnosis, treatment or care, and it includes even the precautionary diagnosis or precautionary testing also. So anything with respect to your illness, injury, deformity, abnormality, or pregnancy in any recognized system of medicine in India. That means there has to be done through pathology or individual pathology or some facilities that have the nature of pathology. And also include service by way of transportation of patient to and from a clinical establishment, but does not include. What is not being included? Something which is not with respect to your healthcare service, but that may involve the facility of a doctor or the medical establishment, like your cosmetic surgeries, like your hair transplant or plastic surgery. So now we have to understand the difference between cosmetic plastic surgery and some kind of plastic surgery which are essential to make some kind of correction for whatever deformation has happened. So the category has to be understand that what kind of plastic surgery has to be excluded. So except, the exception has been given in the definition itself, when undertaken to restore or reconstruct anatomy or function of body affected due to some congenital defects, developmental abnormalities, injury or trauma. There can be of any kind. Example may be like by birth defect. There may be some kind of defect or some kind of abnormality with respect to the anatomy that can be corrected. And for that, in case the plastic surgery is required, then it will be taken as exempted service. And in case the plastic surgery is only with respect to some beautification or some kind of other treatment apart from the which has been defined, then it will be taxable. Now, as per definition 2S of the notification 12/2017, now the interesting question comes to all of किसको बोलेंगे कि वो clinical establishment है, तो किसको बोलेंगे हम? Hospital, nursing home, clinics, sanatorium or any other institution by whatever name called. So that means the definition is very, very elaborated. They are not restricting it to certain. So these are the examples. So whatever name it can have, so we have to understand the intent. So what other words that has been used in this frame. So whatever name called means they should also have some kind of resemblance or appearance of what all other words are coming in this sentence. That offer services or facilities require diagnosis or treatment or care of illness, injury, deformity, etc. in any recognized system of medicine. That means that all the procedure should has been recognized by your council, Medical Council of India, or a place established as an independent entity or a part of an establishment to carry out diagnostic. That is the pathology. We know that there are n number of pathologies that are mushrooming in our neighborhood areas, but they are basically what? They are basically the extended arm of the other medical establishment where the functioning is only collection of the sample just to facilitate the facility of pathology, or investigating services, like we have seen many investigating institution, MRI centers, X-ray centers, etc. Again, now the definition that require our attention is who exactly is authorized medical practitioner. So that means he should be registered under the council and any of the council of the recognized system of medicine established or recognized by law in India, and includes a medical professional having the requisite qualification to practice in any recognized system of medicine in India or as per any law for the time being in force. And paramedics is not defined in GST, but so we have to understand the nature of the services that they are trained to take care professionally for any patient or anyone who is requiring their assistance. I'll just excuse me for just 2 minutes. I'm sorry, now I have reached my office. So I hope my voice is audible.
It is clear, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Now will come what exactly has been taken care under the other categories for the same thing that has been exempted, like service provided by the operators of the common biomedical waste waste treatment facility or clinical establishment of by way of treatment or disposable. We all know that disposal of biomedical waste is also a very important aspect. So all the services or the service provider which are necessary for these kind of services, they are also being exempted. Now, treatment of bio or disposable of biomedical waste or the process. So service provider has to be the common biomedical waste treatment facility, clinical establishment. Biomedical waste means all kind of waste containing infectious material like your infusion kit, discarded blood, etc. That are the basically waste of a clinical establishment. Similarly, we have seen cord blood banks, etc. So where they are preserving your stem cell or any other services related to such preservation, they are also given this kind of benefit. Similarly, service by clinic, not just human life is important. We the Council of India also been taken care, and they are also accordingly dealt with, and they are been exempted. So that has to be given by the professionals. So service provider who are recognized under the Rehabilitation Council of India, and who is service provider, any person that can be at medical establishment, educational institution, rehabilitation center, etc. And they are covered under this entry number 74A. So these are the few of the arenas which has been exempted. So we all know that even after the amendment, the major change has only with respect to the room tariff. Other things has remained the same, and they are taken care accordingly. So recent amendments in hospital room rent, we have seen under 47th GST Council meeting held on June 29th, 2022, it was decided that 5% GST will be levied on non-ICU hospital room. That means ICU is still out of this ambit. Non-ICU hospital rooms with a room tariff or room rent of more than 5,000 rupees per day, the GST will be leviable, and the new rate of GST which has been made applicable from 18th July 2022 will be 5%. And yes, in addition to that, no ITC will be available. Otherwise also we know, because the most of the hospital services are exempted, So they are not eligible for any kind of ITC availability. On the same line, they have added to this also because that's a preferential rate that they usually say it as. So now they had levied 5%, but again, the restriction is with respect to ITC. So that means no ITC will be available. Only ITC which is available to the hospital is only vis-a-vis the taxable supplies like medicine supplies or room rent rental services which they are providing to attendants or visitors, or in case of any rental income. So in case one-to-one correlation is there for the taxable supplies only, they are eligible for the benefit of the ITC. Otherwise, there is a complete restriction of ITC. So I'll open the forum, whatever we have dealt with, any queries with respect to the definition or anything with respect to what we have dealt with, any query with respect to that, whether a partnership firm of doctor is recognized as authorized medical professional, partnership firm, not individual. मोहित अरोड़ा जी, आपका क्वेश्चन एग्जेम्पशन से लेके है, तो अगर मैं आपको डेफिनेशन पे एक बार हम वापस चले, who is authorized medical practitioner means a medical practitioner registered with any of the council. That means in individual capacity only he should be registered, and includes a medical professional having requisite qualification. We all are chartered accountants. Can't we form a partnership firm? But whatever the benefit or whatever the rules and regulation that are applicable to chartered accountants, despite the fact that we are into a consortium called LLP or partnership firm, they are still applicable to all. So similarly, what is the essence that who is providing the services? The services should have been provided by an authorized medical practitioner. So that has been taken care under clinical establishment. So they have not talked about in anywhere, they have not talked about kind of constituent that they may form of. So that is something that has not been dealt with. And as per my little understanding, there is no restriction because ultimately partnership firm is not going to be the supplier. Basically the supplier, or they have formed a consortium like 4 or 5 doctors may have come and holded hand of each other. But yes, we have to understand what their council, what the medical council has given to them. Is there any restriction for holding a place of profit? In case there is a restriction of holding a place of profit, and because we all know this is, we as professional are always doing profession. We are not doing business. So there is a difference between business and there is a difference between profession. So whatever, see, I am not a doctor by profession. So in case if doctor create a company, so then the company is in definition of authorized medical practitioner. No, as per my little understanding, the company will not form because authorized medical practitioner has to be a natural person. That cannot be an unnatural person. Company is called a person, but not a natural person. So that is what I said. The consortium constituent may be different, but that has to be seen by the medical council, what their ethics or what their rule or regulations are all about. Because honestly speaking, I am not aware any doctors are running a LLP or any doctors are running a company, because most of them, what they are running, even if they are running a consortium, it is under trust or it is under society. Section 8, what we call non-profit type of entities has been created by many doctors, which I have seen, but I have never seen as on date, I mean, not in my knowledge, but again, my humble submission will be, for that we need to understand and we need to go, I mean, what their council is given the restriction, that has to be taken care of. So Mohit Arora ji has raised his hand. So can we unmute him or he can unmute himself?
नो मैं करता हूं जी अभी मोहित अरोड़ा जी को। हाँ जी, आपको अलाउ टू टॉक किया है जी मोहित जी और अनुराग जी दोनों को।
मैम थैंक यू फॉर द अंडरस्टैंडिंग माय क्वेश्चन। एक्चुअली I am facing the same problem with many of my doctors. I have many of my clients as a doctors over here. तो है क्या कि they form a even sometimes they form a company, private limited company, and run a hospital under that. And
I think I'm sorry, but I think in India, most of the hospitals, schools are run under society or trust. What I believe. I don't practice in direct tax. I'm very very clear in that I don't practice in direct tax. So I may be wrong, but my little understanding is that most of the hospitals or schools are run under trust or under society.
One more thing is there, that is in a single clinic, two doctors sit and they make a partnership firm between them that we will run this.
But partnership firm is different thing. To sign a MOU between two person is not a partnership firm. I may sign an MOU, हम दो डॉक्टर्स एक साथ बैठते हैं, बट मुझे नहीं पता क्या वो एग्जैक्टली पार्टनरशिप एक्ट के अंदर एक पार्टनरशिप फर्म फॉर्म करते हैं. I doubt, because they cannot, even like us, we cannot hold a office of profit. So what their profession allows is, I'm really not aware of that fact. So that in that you need to excuse me. So I don't know whether they are, eligible for that partnership firm or no. बट आपका सवाल ये है जो मैं समझ पा रही हूँ कि अगर वो पार्टनरशिप फर्म बना लेते हैं तो भी वो डॉक्टर ही तो अपनी फैसिलिटी देगा ना सर.
फैसिलिटी द डॉक्टर विल प्रोवाइड, हाउएवर जो भी रेवेन्यू आएगा वो तो पार्टनरशिप फर्म के नाम पे आएगा. और जीएसटी के अंदर जो मेरे को एग्जम्पशन मिली है वो वहां पे उन्होंने मेडिकल ऑथराइज मेडिकल प्रैक्टिशनर को दी है, ना कि
सर एडवोकेट्स की एग्जम्पशन है कि उनको आरसीएम में पे करना है. अब वो एडवोकेट सिंगल एडवोकेट है, एडवोकेट फर्म है, एलएलपी है, पार्टनरशिप फर्म है, एग्जम्पशन सबको है.
ओके मैम, ओके, गॉट इट.
My constituent is not going to change the nature of my service. This is my humble submission.
Okay ma'am, thanks a lot.
So any other query? मोहित जी का भी यही सवाल था.
मैम मैं ही मोहित हूँ.
तो अभी और एक जन ने
अनुराग जी इधर आए हुए हैं जी, दूसरे अपने इधर पैनलिस्ट में.
जी. So I hope I am able to clarify all the queries. अनुराग सर आप शायद म्यूट पे हैं.
गुड आफ्टरनून मैम. मैडम जो एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस है ना, उसमें तो ये है कि मतलब कि आपने सोसाइटी या ट्रस्ट बनाना है. जो मेडिकल इंस्टीट्यूशन है उसमें कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है, वो प्राइवेट भी रन होते हैं. और मैडम कई बार प्रॉब्लम
बोला ना सर, देखिए मैं डायरेक्ट टैक्स प्रैक्टिस नहीं करती हूँ बिल्कुल, सो आई एम नॉट अवेयर. So, but my little knowledge was that in India, most of the, because I'm doing GST audit for few hospitals, but they are under society only.
No, मैडम ये वो बहुत कम है. वो चैरिटेबल हॉस्पिटल्स हैं, दूसरे हॉस्पिटल्स नहीं है. और एक मैडम इसमें एक और भी प्रॉब्लम आती है, जैसे
मैं जिनको ऑडिट कर रही हूँ सर वो चैरिटेबल नहीं है, अच्छा खासा पैसा लेते हैं.
अच्छा मैडम, इसमें और भी प्रॉब्लम आती है. जैसे कोई हॉस्पिटल है, बड़ा हॉस्पिटल है, मतलब कि वो चैरिटेबल नहीं है, तो उसमें एक बड़ा ऑपरेशन करना है. उसमें जैसे एनेस्थीसिया वाला अलग से डॉक्टर बुलाते हैं ऑन हायर, और जो कोई मतलब के बाद में या वो कोई ऑपरेशन करना है स्पेसिफिक, उसका अलग बनाते हैं. तो उसका जैसे कस्टमर से कुछ और चार्ज करते हैं और उसको मतलब कि जो डॉक्टर को देना है वो कुछ और पे करते हैं.
कंप्लीट पैकेज आपका एग्जेम्प्ट है, कंप्लीट. आप उसमें प्रॉफिट ले रहे हैं सर. सुप्रीम कोर्ट की एक बहुत अच्छी जजमेंट है ग्रीनविच मेरिडियन के केस में, सर्विस टैक्स के रिजीम में. जब आपके बेसिक सर्विस या बेसिक प्रोडक्ट एग्जेम्प्ट होता है तो उसके साथ जुड़े हुए आपके प्रॉफिट, मार्कअप, कमीशन, वो सब एग्जेम्प्ट होते हैं. तो आप अगर मुझे हायर कर रहे हैं, मुझे आप 5,000 दे रहे हैं और आप पेशेंट से 10,000 ले रहे हैं, तो वो 10,000 का 10,000 उसी कैटेगरी में आएगा. यू डोंट हैव टू डिस्क्लोज कि मेरा मार्कअप जो है, क्योंकि मार्कअप अल्टीमेटली है तो आपका एग्जाम सर्विसेज में ही ना. सर 99.99% ऑफ द हॉस्पिटल्स आर रनिंग ऑन प्रॉफिट्स, अदरवाइज हाउ विल दे रन.
मतलब कि हमने बेसिकली ये देखना है कि जो सर्विस एग्जाम्प्ट है, प्रोवाइडर चाहे जो मर्जी हो.
यस सर,
द क्रक्स ये है.
क्रक्स तो प्रोवाइडर डेफिनेशन
बिल्कुल एक्यूरेटली. हॉस्पिटल तो 99% प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी वाले हैं. सिर्फ स्कूलों में हम कह सकते हैं कि 100% इन चैरिटेबल हैं, क्योंकि उसमें लॉ प्रोवाइड नहीं करता, उनको प्राइवेट अलाउ करता नहीं. हॉस्पिटल में तो सारे ही प्राइवेट है, 99% मतलब नॉन चैरिटेबल है.
हाँ मे बी सर, आई एम सेइंग कि वो होता उनका कंसोर्शियम ट्रस्ट या सोसाइटी में है, वो चैरिटेबल है या नहीं है, बट उनका एक फॉर्म वो यूजुअली ट्रस्ट और उस सब में बना के रखते हैं. क्योंकि अगर ऐसा है तो, बट एनीवेज, सो आपको तो ये देखना है कि वो काम क्या कर रहा है। हम आगे चले।
हाँ जी प्लीज जी।
अब हम कुछ रेलेवेंट केस लॉज हैं जो थोड़े से टेक्निकल इसी इश्यूज के ऊपर बात करते हैं। तो एक सर गंगाराम हॉस्पिटल की अगर मैं बात करूं, तो यहाँ पे क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ सर्विस था कि सपोर्ट सर्विस है ऑफ बिजनेस और कॉमर्स। तो असेसिया हॉस्पिटल वाज एंगेज्ड इन हेल्थ केयर सर्विस टू पेशेंट। To provide such service, it has engaged professionals and doctors on contractual basis. अभी जो हमारी बात भी चल रही थी, these doctors are provided space in hospitals with required facilities to attend to patient. हमने देखा आजकल बहुत सारे डॉक्टर्स की अपनी ओपीडीज जो होती हैं वो जनरल ओपीडी और प्राइवेट ओपीडी दोनों हॉस्पिटल के अंदर होती है। These doctors were paid professional fees in terms of contract. Fees paid to doctor was computed based on the predetermined ratio on amount received by the assessee from patient. Adjudicating authority held that the party of amount retained by the assessee out of total charges collected from patient were liable to service tax under the category of support service of business or commerce. Whether adjudicating authority was justified in his view, so it was held no. Where assessee, a hospital was engaged in healthcare services to patient and to provide such services, it has engaged doctor on contractual basis and it retains certain amount. जो अभी आपका सवाल था, certain amount out of total charges collected from patient, assessee was not liable to pay service tax. तो वही analogy आज आप GST में भी लेके आओगे, तो वो मेरा exempt सर्विस है, तो उसके ऊपर मेरा मार्कअप है या मैंने कुछ रिटेन करा है अपने पॉकेट में, so that will not be chargeable to tax. Then there is an advance authority ruling, Madhya Pradesh, in the matter of JC Genetics, where it was that healthcare services provided by a company which is not an independent clinical establishment are not exempted from GST. And we all know AAR ka jo hai, I always say there are other ways for committing suicide. Why to go for AAR or AAR? But anyways, has neither come forward with the name of such companies with which the applicant claimed to have collaborated, nor have the applicant produced any document evidencing their own status of accreditation. Because any establishment, whether in the form of company or anything, that has to be accredited by NABL. अगर वो NABL से certified नहीं है, तो वो obviously उसके पास कोई accreditation नहीं है. आज हम जैसे स्कूल के लिए बोलते हैं कि CBSE recognized स्कूल होना चाहिए, तो जो उसकी वैल्यू है तभी वो है कि जब वो recognized है, उसका करिकुलम रिकॉग्नाइज्ड है एक फोरम से. तो इसी तरीके से आपके पैथोलॉजीज के भी रिकॉग्निशन एक्रेडिशन होनी चाहिए, जो भी हमारी सर्टिफाइंग अथॉरिटीज है. अगर उसके नहीं है तो दैट मींस दे आर नॉट रनिंग अ क्लिनिकल लेबोरेटरी, दे आर रनिंग समथिंग एल्स अंडर द गार्ब ऑफ क्लिनिकल लेबोरेटरी. सो इन दैट मैनर दे हैव हेल्ड दिस रूलिंग अगेंस्ट assessee. Now there is a matter, supply of medicine to the patient and outpatient. That means we have two kind of patient, one is inpatient and one is outpatient. So anything which respect to treatment of inpatient, any medicine that has been supplied, so that will be taken care and that will be exempted in respect of a bundled service, because the composite, the concept of composite supply is there. My basic supplies, my healthcare, my medical facility, and in during the process of that facility, if I'm supplying some kind of medicine or I'm consuming some kind of consumables like bandage, gauze or whatever thing, so all these become part and parcel of my basic supply, that is healthcare supply. And same way, in case of outpatient, healthcare services provided by hospital are restricted. What their restriction has been given, outpatient pe kya hota hai? We are not including daycare, because now there is a thin line between daycare and outpatient. Daycare means the facility is within the premise, but you don't need to stay overnight, like short duration programs. If I say somebody is going for dialysis or somebody is going for chemotherapy for that matter, so these are conducted in daycare facility only, because the duration of the complete treatment will be lasting from 4 to 6 to 8 hours only. You don't need to spend overnight. But outpatient means they are usually coming, so they will not be treated as outpatient, but outpatient is one who is coming for the consultation, who is coming for some kind of diagnosis for the doctor, or having some kind of what should I say, the checkup or other facilities. So those will be treated as outpatient. And any supplies of medicine
and any allied product to outpatient will be liable to GST, and they will be treated as taxable supplies. So that was the outcome of Ernakulam Medical Center judgment that was pronounced in 2019. Similarly, in the case of Medivision Scan and Diagnostic Research Center, GST AR Kerala. So now it is with respect to whether diagnostic services provided has to take a registration under GST. Now they are coming up that by the virtue of section 23, what section 23 says, that in case your supplies are totally exempted, or in case your supplies are prone to reverse charge, that means the liability on your supplies has been given to the other person or to the recipient, that he is liable to pay taxes. Then in such scenario, you are exempted from the compulsory registration that has been awarded under section 24, and also from the registration as per section 22. That means once you have crossed the threshold limit, if you are falling within the ambit of section 23, then you need not consider 22 and you need not consider 24. So same way it has been dealt that when the provider of the service is covered by the exemption notification and all the supplies that he is going to supply are exempted, then by virtue of section 23, they are not liable to get themselves registration. In Syed Therapeutic, now they have said what the query was, whether medical team of applicant is involved in complete cycle and hence they facilitate diagnosis process and therefore service provided by applicant qualified to healthcare service. So now since the applicant was qualified as clinical establishment, so whatever services, like they in given example in the given query, sir was asking that there may be therapy, there may be anesthetist, there may be some kind of dietitian that is involved, because we have seen when there is some kind of treatment that has been conducted in the hospital, so various nature of doctors or medical experts are involved, ranging from your dietitian, your physiotherapist, your anesthetist, or your surgeon, your physician. So depending upon the nature of the ailment or depending upon the nature of the treatment. So in that case, where the applicant is involved in providing the service of diagnosis, so that may be a pre or post counseling therapy, some kind of prevention of disease by providing tests that are sophisticated and relevant. We have seen now there are so many tests that they have to be done under the guidance of an expert only. Take an example of simple sonography or a simple ultrasound also. Now there are a number of ranges that has developed in these normal, what should I say, radio related or radiation related therapies also, that now we have expert for all these kind of therapies also. Someone is specializing in onco radiology, or somebody is doing only with respect to your parenting or your pregnancy related issues. Someone are doing only with respect to prenatal. That means that even before the birth of a child, they are expert in those kind of diagnoses that may sound like a normal ultrasound, but they have their specialized areas. So all these things are going to be covered under the definition of whatever definition has been provided for clinical establishment or the treatment that has been prescribed under there. So all these things will be falling under that only, and the whole gambit of services will be attracting nil rate of tax. There are cases like in Sefi Hospital, supply of medicine, drugs, stunts, implant, obviously they does not amount to sale. Somebody is lying on the operation table, though the doctors give you an option कि ये imported है, ये Indian make है, ये tungsten का बना है, या ये इस फलां ढंग का, whatever. So you have given 3, 4, 5 option and you can choose as per your pocket allowance. But that does not mean that they are doing sale. That is again in part and parcel of your treatment only. Your stunt, your implants, all these things are falling within the ambit of your treatment only. And so they will not be falling under sale, and still everything will be exempted only. And yes, at times we know because of some kind of abnormality, the patient may require some specific kind of mattress, some specific kind of assistance while sleeping or lying down or sitting. So all these will fall under the definition of treatment or the process itself. Similarly, there has been many cases where the definition or the HSN classification has been challenged. And if I see the Ayurvedic preparation, so there is a very thin line, whether it is a medicament or it is a cosmetic, because Drug and Cosmetic Act has prescribed the definition of what will fall under the drug definition, what will fall under the definition of medicament, what will fall under the definition of cosmetic. So we have seen many judgments like the crack cream, Odomas, and recently we had plethora of arguments with respect to HSN classification of sanitizer, whether it will be falling under chapter 39 or other chapters. The rate of tax has to be 5%, 12% or 18% because of the alcohol content. And trust me, after whole lot of debate and analogy, they have finally attained a certainty, and then only all those things has come to an end. Otherwise, that had been opened up a new Pandora box of litigation, because the way the wording has been done. Because initially, I remember the department was very adamant in making it classify under 18%, and the classification was something, I think, in chapter 39, if I'm not wrong, where the chemicals of specific use were prescribed, and they were making it fall under that category because of the content of the alcohol. But there was one very typical word written in that classification, that whatever has been classified in that particular HSN, they're not suitable for human skin, not suitable for human use. And sanitization or whatever sanitizers we were using on our own skin. So something which has been excluded from that category, how come you can even put that in that category? But anyways, there were many judgments, many debates, sorry. And finally, department has given an end to it. Columbia Asia naturally bundled service with respect to your composite supply or your mixed supply definition. So whatever has been provided by healthcare, it will fall under the definition of composite supply. So there is no provision available in the Act which allows exemption on an input service if output service provided by taxable person is exempt. Held yes. So GST is leviable on rent paid payable for premise taken on lease by applicant a cardiology specialized hospital. Held yes. So basically the issue was with respect to the leasing or rental services. So whether leasing or rental services involving own or lease non-residential property is classified under a particular HSN they were talking of, but then say, no, in case your outward supply is exempt, that does not mean that all your input services has to be exempted. There is no such thing. Because if you see the healthcare facility also, your outward supply is exempt, but all your inward supplies are taxable. I mean, everything bears a tax, your medicine, your implant, everything bears a tax. It is only that your outward supply is exempted. So these were the issues that I would like to highlight with respect to your healthcare industry. So let me see the questions that has been. No, I know trust is also not a natural person, but sir has clarified that most of the undertaking in India are under company and under trust also. This is what I said. By the constituent, my nature of service is not going to change. Burnt case, voice issue, burnt case. Voice issue is again a therapy only, and it comes under your treatment. Voice modulation, people, that speech therapy, they all are under the medical facilities only. Burnt cases, yes, burnt cases, I mean, then depend how you are going to treat burn. There are many cases. I mean, I hope Mr. Mohit has raised this query of burnt cases with respect to plastic surgery, I hope. But sir, we have to understand for burnt cases, most of the time, depending upon the degree of burn, in case that various layers of your skin is damaged, then what we do? We do the fragmentation. That means skin from your other part of the body is taken out and is pasted. So that will not amount to plastic surgery. That will again amount to treatment only. I hope, Mohit sir, your query was with this respect only, because you've just written one word. No, ma'am, so many hospital run. So I'm not arguing on that thing. Do you think that was a harsh provision? Which provision? 5%? Obviously, sir, I have already said. I don't know. I mean, the questions are like incomplete. Ma'am, do you think that was a harsh provision? About what? I'm talking of 5% levied on room. With that only, with that respect only, I'm answering. Therapy center for massage. I mean, what kind of massage? If it is a physiotherapy, obviously doctor है तो वो massage parlor तो नहीं चलाएगा. मतलब राजेंद्र जी, डॉक्टर है तो वो फिजियोथेरेपी ही चलाएगा, या मसाज विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू योर फिजिकल एलिमेंट चलाएगा. लाइक वी हैव स्पाइन सेंटर्स, वी हैव other rehabilitation centers where your injury or your sprains are taken care of. So they all come under treatment only. So we have to understand the intent by which. So I'm going with the plain understanding of what I am getting from your questions. Inpatient are those who are admitted for some period. Not necessarily. Admission may amount for the daycare also, Mr. Gagan. CA Gagan Saluja ji. अगर आप डे केयर की ट्रीटमेंट की बात करें, जैसे मैंने डायलिसिस का एग्जांपल दिया, कीमो का एग्जांपल है, रेडिएशन का एग्जांपल है. रेडिएशन में तो आपको मुश्किल से 15 मिनट की थेरेपी होती है और आधा पौन घंटा आपको प्रिपरेशन में लगता है. बट दैट इज अगेन योर ट्रीटमेंट ओनली. You will not be treated as outpatient. You will be treated as inpatient only. Whatever medicine that are being consumed while undergoing that particular treatment will be treated as inpatient treatment only. Applicable on income of lab which are operated by non-authorized medical practitioner. As per my knowledge, most of the labs are operated by various entities, and they are not medical practitioners. They must have on their panel some medical practitioner to validate those reports, to sign those reports. All your pathology have their on panel doctors, but they are exempted because they are covered under the definition. Two new messages. Food canteen open in hospital, that is taxable. Diet to patient will be covered under your exempt, but diet to your relative and outsider will be taxable. Cataract operation to daycare, ma'am. Sir, cataract operation is conducted within 15 minutes. And after 2 hours, the patient is released. So, I mean, I could not understand your question. So cataract operation to daycare. So, I mean, what is the query? Whether it is exempted or non-exempted. So it is exempted, if in case your query is that only. Sir, how does it make a difference? What if the lab is owned by an authorized medical lab? Whosoever is owning is exempted. Your pathology labs, whether Apollo Pharmacy, Tata Pharmacy, Dr. Lal, whatever, they all are exempted. Whether they are owned by a medical practitioner or they are owned by a business owner, whatever the thing is. LASIK is a cosmetic surgery. Yes. Your eye correction, power correction treatment, they are your cosmetic surgery. In case that is related to some kind of your abnormality, like a child is born with, let's say, -18 vision. So that is not a cosmetic surgery. So that is again a very thin line. So we should not end up or having this debate which will be cosmetic surgery or which will not be cosmetic surgery. Obviously depend upon the facts of the cases.
मैडम जो स्पेक्स उतारने के लिए वो लेजर ट्रीटमेंट करते हैं वो,
सर मैंने वही बोला, स्पेक्स उतारना अलग बात है. अब कोई बच्चा -18 नंबर के साथ पैदा हुआ है, वो कितना मोटा चश्मा लगाएगा, उसकी करेक्शन को आप थोड़े ना लेजर.
पर मैडम जो यहाँ पे मेरा डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन है, जो स्पेक्स उतारते हैं जहाँ की जो हमारी नेचुरल विजन है वो तो डिफेक्टिव ही ना, तभी स्पेक्स उतार रही हैं.
नहीं सर, स्पेक्स उतारना एक डिफरेंट बात है, वो तो आप स्पेक्स लगा के काम कर सकते हैं ना।
मैडम
मैं
नहीं
स्पेक्स
नहीं, उसमें
लगा रही
मैडम
हूँ।
जो स्पेक्स हम तभी लगाते हैं ना जब हमारी जो नेचुरल विजन है वो वीक हो गई है, तभी स्पेक्स लगाते हैं, तो उसका
सर
आई
अब
का
आप,
ट्रीटमेंट।
और ये मेरा आर्ग्यूमेंट नहीं है, ये चीज डिपार्टमेंट को समझनी होगी। मतलब आप और मैं एक ही लाइन पे हैं, बट आप जो कहना चाह रहे हैं मैं आपकी बात समझ गई, बट मेरा आंसर यही है कि वो फिलहाल जो डेफिनेशन को अगर आप पढ़ेंगे तो वो कॉस्मेटिक में, दैट इज अ डिबेटेबल इशू।
थैंक यू मैम।
अब मैं इंटेंट आपकी समझ रही हूँ सर कि मुझे कोई बीमारी है, आंखें खराब हैं, तभी तो मैंने चश्मा लगाया है, तो ये ट्रीटमेंट में आना चाहिए। बट लेसिक के बिना भी आपका काम चल सकता है, कैटरेक्ट के बिना आपका काम नहीं चलेगा। कैटरेक्ट का ऑपरेशन आपके लिए कराना जरूरी है, लेजर आप नहीं कराएंगे तो भी कोई आपकी लाइफ में कुछ चेंज नहीं आने वाला है। दिस इज देयर रैशनल, एंड दैट इज ऑनेस्ट रैशनल। आई एम वेयरिंग अ स्पेक्स, I'm liking it. Tomorrow I may go and get my specs removed. So that is my choice. So I think we are done with healthcare. So let's move on GTA with the due permission of all the participants. Shall we?
Please continue with GTA.
Thank you so much. So what is your take? GTA में क्या changes आए हैं? Interesting changes है कि नहीं है? बताइए सर। सर टू वे ट्रैफिक में मजा आता है। I have large number of gathering of participants, at least I'm looking forward for messages. So are we ready for the next topic for the day? Kindly write R already. पूरा GST interesting है। Yes. Ravitosh sir, obviously your turnover is basis, whatever is exclusively for your taxable supplies is allowed. Common credit not a, I mean, has to be in portion, and whatever is with respect to your exempt supplies is 100% has to be out of your pool of your eligible ITs. आर पढ़ते ही ना मुझे अजय जैन सर की क्लास याद आती है, वो आर उनकी क्लास का फेमस वर्ड होता था। ओके, सो जीएसटी ऑन लॉजिस्टिक्स, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन सेक्टर, जीटी एंड आरसीएम। एक छोटा सा सवाल है मेरा सारे पार्टिसिपेंट से। अभी हमें पता है इनवर्ड ओशन फ्रेट की कहानी खत्म हो चुकी है, और आउटवर्ड ओशन फ्रेट की अगर मैं बात करूं, सेक्शन 12 सबसेक्शन 8, अभी जिसको एग्जेम्पशन नोटिफिकेशन 30 सितंबर तक जो थी ओशन फ्रेट के ऊपर, जो उसको विड्रॉ कर लिया गया है और अभी उसको 5% टैक्सेबल कर दिया। हमें इसका आईटीसी मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा? मेरा ये एक छोटा सा सवाल है। आईटीसी विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू योर ओशन फ्रेट will be available. I'm not talking of eligibility. I am saying available or not available. Yes, we can claim. No, I'm not asking we can claim or we cannot claim. Yes, available or not available. Yes, Devinder sir has said yes, available. Gagan sir, आपने बोला no मिलेगा. Why so? Gagan sir, I would like to not available. Prithvi, Gagan sir. आप मुझे थोड़ा सा इस पे मेरा मार्गदर्शन करेंगे प्लीज। नॉट अवेलेबल जिन्होंने लिखा है, मैं उनसे थोड़ा सा जानना चाहूंगी ओपिनियन उनका। उसके बाद मैं अवेलेबल वालों पे भी आऊंगी, ऐसा मत सोचिए कि कौन सा सही है कौन सा गलत है। मैं खुद, जीएसटी तो हम सबके लिए इवॉल्व हो रहा है, हमें खुद ही नहीं पता कि क्या सही है और क्या गलत है। सो प्लीज आई रिक्वेस्ट, जिन्होंने नॉट अवेलेबल लिखा था, प्लीज गगन सर आप अपने आप को अनम्यूट करेंगे। विनय गुप्ता जी, वेदांता फोर्टिस सब एग्जामिशन क्लेम करते हैं। मैम इन लुधियाना हॉस्पिटल प्रोवाइडेड फूड टू देयर पेशेंट। सर पेशेंट को तो फूड एग्जेम्प्ट ही है, कहाँ मनाई है उसमें? Gagan ji, I'm waiting for your reply. I hope I'm with you all. और कोई मेरे साथ शेयर करना चाहेंगे कि इनपुट मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा? एनी वॉलंटियर प्लीज? विवेक सर, आपने क्या वर्ड लिखा है? कर्नाटक, आई डोंट नो what exactly it mean. I'm unable to read your word or sorry, understand your word.
I think it is Nukkad Natak,
What is Nukkad Natak?
the roadside place.
How it is related to our topic today? I fail to understand. Anyways, so my simple question, please, there is no point in running ahead.
गगन जी, आप now you are allowed to talk. Kindly अपना क्वेश्चन पूछिए. आज आपको एक और हमारी फैकल्टी बताते हैं, सलील गुप्ता जी हमारे पास CS से बैठे हैं.
नहीं, गगन जी ने अभी सवाल नहीं पूछना सर, गगन जी ने मेरे सवाल का जवाब देना है.
अच्छा जी, फिर तो इनको पैनलिस्ट बना देते हैं. फिर तो इनको पैनलिस्ट बना दिया गगन जी आपको. आप रिप्लाई दो क्वेश्चनों के.
So I'm waiting from my audience to give me an honest feedback whether the ITC is available on ocean freight. 5%
जी आपका हैंड रेज है. विनीत बिंदल जी आपका हैंड रेज है. आपको भी मैंने अनम्यूट किया है, रादर आपको पैनलिस्ट में कर रहा हूं.
जी विनीता जी. जी सुरेंद्र पाल जी.
मैम क्योंकि ये एक्सपोर्ट का केस है.
हाँ, तो सर एक्सपोर्ट में तो मुझे सारा आईटीसी मिलता है, जीरो रेटेड सप्लाई है, तभी तो मुझे रिफंड मिलता है रूल 89 सब रूल 4 में एज पर सेक्शन.
बट मैम एक्सपोर्ट पे तो टैक्स लगेगा ही नहीं ना.
ओशन फ्रेट उन्होंने टैक्सेबल कर दिया है सर एक्सपोर्ट का. मैंने तो बोला उस पे आईटीसी मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा.
मैम फ्रेट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ सेल ना.
ठीक है, तो सेल है तो उस पे 5% उसका आईटीसी मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा? मेरी इनवर्ट सप्लाई है सर.
जब मेरी बेसिक ही टैक्सेबल नहीं है तो उस पे ऊपर टैक्स जो लगेगा फ्रेट पे.
सर हम किसी और जीएसटी की बात कर रहे हैं. सारे एक्सपोर्ट के ऊपर जीरो रेटेड सप्लाई है, उस पे जो मेरा इनपुट आता है उसका आईटीसी मिलता है सर. रिफंड मिलना नहीं मिलना एक अलग क्वेश्चन. आईटीसी तो मैं सबका लेती हूँ जो मैं एक्सपोर्ट करती हूँ. ये कहाँ लिखा है कि मैं एक्सपोर्ट करती हूँ? वहां पे अगर आप सेक्शन 16 देखेंगे, वहां लिखा हुआ इवन इफ इट इज एग्जेम्प्टेड स्टिल योर आईटीसी इज एलिजिबल. सारी एग्जेम्प्ट टर्नओवर के ऊपर आपकी आईटीसी ऑफ योर इनपुट सर्विसेज, इनपुट गुड्स, अगर कोई उसमें लगा है जो टैक्सेबल है, डिस्पाइट द फैक्ट दैट यू आर एक्सपोर्टिंग इट, even if it is an exempt service, still your ITC is eligible as per section 16 of the IGST Act. Yes, Prithvi ji. विनीता जी.
मैडम नहीं मिलेगा.
सर रीजन तो बता दीजिए.
प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई आउटसाइड इंडिया आ रहा है.
प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई आउटसाइड इंडिया आ रहा है. सेक्शन 12 सबसेक्शन 8.
सेक्शन 12 सेक्शन वहां पे लिखे ना कि जहां पे गुड्स टर्मिनेट होगी प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई वहां पे आ रहा है.
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल बहुत बढ़िया आंसर है सर, बिल्कुल करेक्ट आंसर है. मिलेगा जरूर लेकिन कंटेस्ट करके. अवेलेबल नहीं है इजीली. क्यों? क्योंकि वहां उन्होंने एक जो लीगल लैंग्वेज है वो ड्राफ्टिंग एरर है. अगर मैं सेक्शन 12 में फॉल करती हूँ तो दैट मीन्स मेरे दोनों रिसिपिएंट और सप्लायर इंडिया में है. प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई का प्लेस ऑफ टर्मिनेशन ऑफ सप्लाई से कहां लेना देना था? प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज गवर्न्ड बाय सेक्शन 10, 11, 12, 13. पीओपीएस रूल ऑफ सर्विस टैक्स थोड़ी ना थे यहाँ पे, लेकिन शायद ड्राफ्ट मेकर जो थे वो सर्विस टैक्स इरा के थे, उन्होंने यहाँ पे भी वो प्लेस ऑफ प्रोविजन से अटैच कर दिया कि जहां मेरी टर्मिनेशन हो रही है। अब टर्मिनेशन हो रही है अदर टेरिटरी इज क्लासिफाइड अंडर 99। अब अगर अदर टेरिटरी है तो मेरा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, आईजीएसटी का थंब रूल क्या है कि प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई और मेरा प्लेस ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन सेम होना चाहिए। अगर वो सेम नहीं है तो मुझे आईजीएसटी का क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा। बट इंटेंशन ऑफ द लॉ मेकर क्या है कि आईटीसी मिलना है, फंजिबिलिटी है, सीमलेस क्रेडिट है, पर यहाँ तो ये सीम LESS हो गया है, ये तो सीम लेस क्रेडिट हो गया है। बट एनीवेज,
ये भी मैडम सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाना पड़ेगा ओशियन फ्रेट की तरह।
नहीं हमारे अश्विनी जी इसको रेज करेंगे ना फोरम से, ये ड्राफ्टिंग एरर है, इसको ठीक करा जाए। ये सारे इश्यूज आते हैं जब हम सर्विसेज की बात करते हैं। तो प्लेस ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस, कंजम्पशन ऑफ सर्विस वर्सेस प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, जो कि अभी अभी मैंने एग्जांपल दिया। ट्रैकिंग मूवमेंट नॉट पॉसिबल, सर्विस के अंदर आप वैसे फेक इनवॉइस नहीं होता, इनवॉइस तो होता है, वो सप्लाई नहीं होती, तो मुझे नहीं पता उसको फेक इनवॉइस क्यों कहा जाता है। डेफिनेशन ऑफ सर्विस एज पर सेक्शन 2 सबसेक्शन 102, एनीथिंग अदर देन गुड्स। तो ये कुछ इश्यूज हैं जो हमें देखने हैं। ट्रीटमेंट टू बी ट्रीटेड एज सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स और सर्विसेज, यानी शेड्यूल 2। शेड्यूल 2 का सिर्फ यही रोल है कि वो ये बताते हैं कि ये सर्विस है या गुड्स है। उसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि कुछ अगर स्पेसिफाइड है शेड्यूल 2 में तो वो सप्लाई बन गया है। So analysis of important issues, GTA versus GTO, यानी Goods Transport Agency versus Goods Transport Operator, applicability of different rates simultaneously, ये बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा था। एक बार अगर मैं RCM के जाल में फंस गया तो क्या मैं कभी भी उसके बाहर नहीं आ सकता, क्योंकि लॉ में क्लैरिटी नहीं थी। So finally with this amendment this clarity has been given. सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग मीन्स GTA टू GTA, हायर पे लेते हैं हम व्हीकल, लीज पे लेते हैं हम व्हीकल, एक GTA दूसरे GTA को सप्लाई देता है। कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन, व्हाट टाइप ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शन इंट्रास्टेट एंड व्हाट विल फॉल अंडर द इंटरस्टेट। सो नाउ द मेजर और द मूड क्वेश्चन इज हु इज GTA versus GTO. So who is GTA? Simple, if I talk in simple language, so it has been defined under exemption notification and your taxable notification. Both the notification has this wording. Goods Transport Agency, GTA means simple wording में whosoever issue a consignment note or a bilty by whatever name called. आप उसे बिल्टी बोल दीजिए, कंसाइनमेंट नोट बोल दीजिए, या और कोई भाषा, आम भाषा में या लिट जिसको हम बोलते हैं कॉमन पार्लेंस के अंदर, अगर उसका और कोई नाम चलता है वो जिस मर्जी नाम से हो, बट अगर उसके अंदर इंग्रेडिएंट एक कंसाइनमेंट नोट के हैं, तो जो बंदा कंसाइनमेंट नोट इशू कर रहा है, या एनी पर्सन मींस एनी फॉर्म ऑफ पर्सन इज इशूइंग द कंसाइनमेंट नोट, दैट विल बी फॉलिंग अंडर द डेफिनेशन ऑफ GTA. वेरी सिंपल. A transporter is not interested to issue the bilty or consignment note, then not a GTA or still a GTA. If person having a small lorry and he's driving his own vehicle and issue a kachi receipt, so he will not fall. Because if we see that GTA definition has to be read in consistence with your motor vehicle act, और GTA के अंदर कौन GTA हो सकता है ये भी उसके अंदर prescribed है. I think minimum number of vehicle that he need to show, and he has to issue consignment notes. So all these conditions are there. If I'm having just one truck, or I'm having like Ace Hathi, जिसको add आता है छोटा हाथी, Ace Tempo, and I'm flying on my own, so I will not be falling in the ambit of GTA. I'm just issuing a normal receipt or whatever, and I'm doing the business of transportation of goods. Then again, this is exempted. Why? Because if you see the exemption notification, any movement of goods other than by GTA is again exempted. He will be a GTA or kachi receipt, not matter. So he will not be a GTA because he is not issuing the consignment note. So consignment note is not defined under GST. This is very interesting. Whole definition is based on one simple word, that is consignment note, and that consignment note itself is not defined under the definition provision of the GST law. As the entry bought from the erstwhile service tax law, record of the consignment can be taken from there only, because it has been cut, copy, pasted from your service tax only. So explanation to rule 4B of your service tax rules 1994. Consignment note means a document issued by a GTA against the receipt of goods for the purpose of transportation of goods by road in a goods carriage, which is serially numbered and contain the name of the consignor, consignee, registration number of the goods carriage in which the goods are transported, details of the goods transported, details of the place of origin and the destination, and person liable to pay service tax, whether consignor, consignee, or the GTA, who is going to pay whatever the thing is. It is worth note that mere bill issuance for transportation of goods cannot be treated as consignment. In case of Nangaraj Shirohi Sugar Company versus CCE, that has been posted in Textmen, it was held that consignment note issued by a GTA represent its liability to transport consignment handed over to the destination, undertakes delivery of the same to the consignee, and temporarily stores till delivery. So these facilities has to be taken care while defining the word consignment note. So now there is a advanced ruling which says, passed by Uttarakhand, consignment note has not been defined under CGST Act or in the notification either. In this context, we will take the help of the same explanation that they have borrowed from service tax only, and wherein consignment note has been defined as a document provided by a GTA against the receipt of goods for the transportation of goods by roadways. So presuming of the issuing consignment note indicates that the lien on the goods has been transferred to the transporter. That means the lien, or he has become the custodian, and the transporter become responsible for the goods. That means now the onus of the safe transportation lies on the transporter till its safe delivery to the consignee. In the present case, by issuing Form 2.1 by the applicant, the goods are handed over to the transporter, and the transporter become responsible for the goods till its safe delivery to the destination. So when all these conditions are met, that means they say that then only he will be falling under the ambit of GTA. Similarly, in the matter of KM Tran Logistics Private Limited, if the lien of the goods is transferred and the appellant becomes responsible for the goods till its safe delivery to the consignee, the service will be classified as GTA service, and the issuance of consignment note or its non-issuance does not make any difference so far as the nature of the activity carried out by them is concerned. So the nature of my activity has also to be understood. So similarly, they have tried to add on the pits, meals, and they are trying to make one simple definition because the word has not been defined under GST law. So mere non-issuance of consignment note in such case does not make them entitled for payment of from the exemption of the payment. But I'll like to add something more over here. You need to understand the definition as they have not put in words under this present act. So obviously we have to understand the analogy from the previous act. We have to understand the memorandum behind the definition that has been provided in the previous act also, and other allied definitions, because this we are reading in isolation. That is with respect to consignment note only, but what GTA is, what Carriage Act talks about, and what is the additional condition that has been prescribed under the Carriage Act for someone to be established as GTA also has to be understood in a common scenario. So everything has to be read in totality, and something pick and choice will not work for any kind of interpretation. Where the transporter is liable to issue consignment note, that means first he has to be a person who is liable. That means the other conditions should have been met, that the leviability or the liability to issue consignment note is there. When I'm able to establish that yes, he was liable to issue a consignment note within that environment that has been given, and still he is not issuing, then he cannot surpass the duty. That, okay, I have not issued the consignment note, that means now I'm not responsible for the payment of taxes. No, this cannot be the issue. So first you have to understand what exactly GTA is. If you are falling under the definition of GTA, then whether you issue or not issue a consignment note, that will be dealt in a second phase. So first, as we say, first leviability has to be discussed, or first leviability has to be established. Once the leviability has been established, then only we move further for the taxable value and the rate of tax. If the leviability itself is not there, then there is no requirement of taxable value. Then whatever will be the value, that can be taken care of, because now there will be no hindrance of any kind of loss to revenue. So that's why I'm saying the first we need to, when consignment note is liable to be issued, is subject to the regulatory provision, that is the Carriage Act. So first we have to go and read the Carriage Act. What Carriage Act talked about? If the condition that has been prescribed under Carriage by Road Act 2007 are fulfilled, and the particular person is falling under the definition that has been prescribed under that particular act, read in continuation to what has been written under GST, then he is escaping the liability or the onus of issuing the this consignment note, then he can be said that he is responsible, whether he issue a consignment note or not. That means mere, what should I say, non-acting will not make me safe from the tax liability. Yes, he can work, but again, then if he's a GTA, then he cannot work. But if he's not a GTA, then he can work as a GTO. Can GTA opt for, sorry, this word is not clear at the same time. Okay. 5%, yes. Now we have this option available. 3 participant has raised hands. So okay, I'm pausing for the participants who have raised hands. Prithvi ji, Vinita ji. Any queries, or it was, already raised, so that's why it is showing me. So I think it is by mistake only. Now 5% under RCM, even 5% under FCM, and 12% under FCM. RCM, your reverse charge. I'm still having that option. I can have a 5% in forward charge also. No ITC will be eligible, or with full ITC, I can have a 12% forward charge. I'm getting this notification. So is my screen not working? Ashwani sir?
It's working, ma'am. It's properly working.
Okay. Somebody has written in the chat that it is not working, so that's why I'm asking.
He has to right click on, there is a icon on screen. He has to right click. He has by mistake clicked there. That's why the screen is shuffled. Now your view would be completely available, and screen would be, your shared screen would be in the down arrow, down point.
So decision in 20th GST Council meeting, GTA means allowed to have the option. So this was the pre-amendment scenario. He had this option, 12% with full ITC and 5% with no ITC, and will continue. So this will still continue. However, the GTA has an option at the beginning of the financial year. So he need to opt for this option at the beginning of the financial year. Now, further, that has been done. So service by GTA in relation to transportation of goods, including used households for personal. GTA means any person who provides service in relation to transportation of goods by road and issue and consignment note by whatever name for. So again, same 2.5%, that credit of input tax charge on the GTA goods and service used in supplying the services has not been taken. That means restriction of ITC. 12%, provided that the goods transport agency opt to pay central taxes at 6% under the century. Thenceforth, be liable to pay CGST 6% on all the services supplied by the GTA in totality. So whatever now they are supplying, it will be chargeable to 12%. Now comes the major decision of 47th GST Council meeting. Now what they have said. Option to pay GST at 5% under forward charge without ITC. So now I have that same option, but now under forward charge. Currently, GST is applicable on GTA service either at 5% RCM or 12% FCM. So that was the old scenario. Now, what new scenario is? Now the GTA service provider has been given an option to pay 5%, but again without ITC. So now instead of having complete RCM 5%, now they have given one more additional category of 5% FCM. But again, the same restriction of availability or eligibility of ITC is there. With effect from 18th July, I mean, I really wondered why they have to bring this amendment in the middle of the month. I mean, they could have waited for another 12 days, 13 days, and they could have incorporated the same amendment from the first date of the month. But no, they have said, no, it will be applicable from 18th July onwards. So again, one more work. पूरे महीने में आप उसका reconciliation बनाइए, उससे पहले वाली exemption थी, क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, all those stuff. Following option available to GTA service provider for transportation of goods, including used household for personal usage. So now if GTA does not exercise this option to pay GST, that means he is still eligible to claim under RCM. So 5%, recipient can always claim ITC. I hope किसी को ये doubt तो नहीं है ना कि recipient को GST मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा. Recipient को GST whatever the mechanism is हमेशा available है, चाहे वो RCM है चाहे FCM है, उसको GST हमेशा available है, ITC हमेशा available है. ITC की restriction is only on the end of supplier. So whatever restriction has been imposed, that has been imposed on the supplier itself, that whether they will be eligible to claim ITC or no of the inputs what they have received. But as a recipient of the service, I'm always having this option of availing the ITC. So now GST has been given an option to pay 5% without ITC. Now with effect from 18th July, following option will be available. So if GTA does not exercise, that means 5% recipient can claim ITC. If GTA exercise and opt for the payment of GST at forward charge, now for forward charge, he has two options, 5% without ITC, 12% with ITC. Mandatory declaration. So they have given a format also that what all declaration do he need to provide. So where GTA is opting for the benefit that has been given, like he's trying to switch over from RCM to forward charge, then he has to give a declaration that has been specified in Annexure 5 on or before 15th of the preceding financial year. That is, let's say for 23rd-24 financial year, the declaration should have been given on or before 15/3/2023. So that is the way. So in advance, that means well in advance, you need to commit or you need to foresee what exact option you are going to opt. So what all you think? It is a beneficial change that has come? Yes or no? I'll take the questions afterwards. However, for financial year 22-23, the option can be exercised on or before. They have given the cutoff date, that was 16th of August. The various scenarios can be summarized. So now the various scenarios are, in case you still want to go for RCM, nothing has to be done. You just lay back, relax and chill. If you want to go for FCM, so now FCM for the current financial year, that was the running financial year 22-23. If you want to do anything, any amendment you wanted to do in this current financial year only, so you need to file an Annexure 5 declaration on or before 15th March, like for next year. But if you want to do it for the current year, so you should have exercised the benefit of this notification that you want to, or your willingness to opt for this notification before, on or before 16th of August, and invoice can be raised under forward charge for the period 18th July. So implementation happened on the day it made applicable. So that means from 18th July onwards, you are free to raise your invoice. And declaration, you still had the time of almost 20, I should say almost 30 days or 1 month. In between, you need to put that declaration, or you need, in between, you need to put the procedure that has been laid down. And for next financial year, yes, the cutoff date is on or before 15th March of the preceding financial year. So mandatory declaration. So now even in your invoice also, you need to put this declaration. If GT opt to pay GST under forward charge, then supplier shall issue a tax invoice to the recipient at the applicable rate and shall give following declaration as prescribed in Annexure 3 of the notification 5/2022 dated 30th July. And such declaration, for the sake of easement, we have reproduced that I have taken registration under CGST Act and have exercised the option to pay tax on forward charge for the financial year so and so. That means by this declaration, what he is doing, he's waiving your liability, that tomorrow the officer should not come and ask why you are not paying RCM, because he himself has given this declaration that he has opted. So you are not liable to pay. So now he will be charging you under forward charge. So now your onus is gone. Otherwise, what was happening? Whenever there is a service or a supply which has the onus of paying the service tax or GST by the recipient, then even if the supplier has paid, the onus cannot be shifted. That means if the law has shifted the onus on the recipient to make the payment of the taxes, then that shift cannot be backward integrated. I cannot say that, oh, there is no loss to the revenue. I would have paid 5%, but instead of me, my supplier itself has paid 5% to the department. So how does it make a difference? No, the concept of neutrality over here will not work. Why? Because the onus has been shifted. So once the onus has been shifted, that time you need to fulfill your obligation. Whatever has been made obligatory to you on this act or under this law has to be fulfilled by you. So now what is can GTA opt for the different rate at the same time? So yes, before the amendment 47th council meeting, before the amendment that has been issued, that was a different scenario. And now what will be the different scenario? So can different option be claimed by different GST under the same PAN at a given point of time? I doubt, but I mean, they need to give some clarification. In case of current year, where from 18 July, the GT opt for FCM, but failed to file declaration by 16th, what will be the case? I mean, I have raised the invoice, but somehow, maybe because of technical glitch, maybe because of any reason, if I have missed the bus of 16th August, then what will be the scenario? Whether the condonation will be allowed or not, whether I will be eligible to do whatever I'm doing. So yes, again, all these issues will be settled once they are reaching the forum. So technically or procedurally, we can always say that the benefit cannot be denied because of some procedural lapse. There are plethora of judgment on this, but how the officers are going to react on these situations are yet to be finalized. So we cannot comment on anything. So when GT opt for FCM, that means he has taken this charge that, okay, no RCM from now onwards, I will be charging tax on my invoice. So can he switch between 5 and 12% transaction wise? I mean, can he just say that, okay, अभी मैंने नए ट्रक खरीदे हैं, मेरे पास let's say 10 लाख रुपए का ITC है. जब तक ये 10 लाख रुपए का ITC है, मैं इसको 12% फॉरवर्ड चार्ज में ले लेता हूँ, because ITC है. जैसे ही ITC खत्म होगा, क्या मैं 5% में जा सकती हूँ? I mean, this is again an Pandora box of questions of permutation and combination. Can you utilize other ITC to pay GST? Yes. That, in my opinion, there is no bar, because input tax credit does not distinguish, or there is no one-to-one correlation. The definition of input tax credit does not envisage this condition that whatever has been availed as input tax has to be bearance of an one-to-one correlation. No, because the definition itself says which is intended or used, or intended to be used. That means which has been used or intended to be used. So that can be something which has been procured but never put to use. But the intention is that, okay, tomorrow there should not be any breakdown. So I'm expecting to install one additional set of machine. So that's why there is spares are there, but I may not have used them. But still ITC will be eligible. Why? Because the intention was there. The intention was in the course or furtherance of the business. So similarly, we have to understand that what all permutation combination will be allowed, whether I'll be able to do this switching, that once I have consumed the ITC, then can I switch back to without payment of ITC? In my little understanding, no. Why? Because when you are having a forward charge with restriction on ITC. So again, that restriction has to be read in totality. You cannot say that, okay, जब तक मेरे पास ITC था, मैंने forward charge 12% दिया, जैसे ITC खत्म हुआ, मैंने उसको 5% दिया. I know, law में ऐसा कहीं कोई technically लिखा हुआ नहीं है, but the intention of the lawmaker is not like that, that you can switch over. You may switch over from year to year, but within that year, just because of the consumption of ITC is there, I don't think so the usage will be allowed. Can he require to reverse ITC pertaining to the suppliers at 5% under FCM? He has to. Now there is a different mechanism for 3B also. No? Whatever is eligible and available to you, you need to show it at one tab. Then what is ineligible or restricted or block credit, that has to be shown in the different tabs that has been specifically dedicated for those kind of what should I say, the figures that has to be shown in 3B. So I think accordingly you need to take care of the compliance part also now, because as I said in the beginning of my deliberation, now they are even insisting. And very funny thing is written, because all these things, if you're not highlighting or you're not taking what credit, you're not showing in 3B what was there and what was eligible to you, but that was blocked or ineligible or whatever the reason. So all these details are required by them for the final settlement between the center and the state. So that is the reason they are giving that, no, you should be giving all kind of proper declaration and all kind of field has to be filled with. Is it required to reverse ITC? Because this is not regarded as exempt supplies for the purpose of section 17 subsection 2, because that comes only under the definition where RCM is applicable. So RCM 5% in case applicable, then that kind of services are treated as exempt service as per your section 17 subsection 2 provision, and that are used for the common reversal with respect to your rule 42 and 43. Or will it be sheltered? Or will it get shelter of para 4 of the explanation in notification 11/2017? So we have to, again, these points has to be evolved with time. So after switching from RCM option, will he be eligible to avail ITC on the opening stock as per the provision of section 18? I think there should not be any bar, because when I am switching out from the RCM, but again for the forward charge means 12% where ITC is eligible, then there should not be any restriction. Obviously, proportionate time period in case of capital goods and in case of other inputs, accordingly you need to understand. So this is the scenario. Transaction is happening between GTA to GTA, then GTA to final recipient. So they are issuing consignment note, they are issuing consignment note. Now, the decision which is applicable. It is now mandatory to follow HSN. Now they have even clarified on the usage of which HSN you will be using for GTA service and what HSN you will be using for the support service in transportation between these two, GTA to GTA or GTA to the final. I'm requesting please all the participants to mute themselves. May I request the organizers to please mute the participants.
रेलवे स्टेशन पर हो गया.
पृथ्वी जी प्लीज आप अपना माइक म्यूट कर दीजिए.
मैम मेरी थोड़ी सी क्यूरी इसके सब्जेक्ट में थी रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए. हेलो
सर, हम एक बार डेलिब्रेशन खत्म करें उसके बाद आई टेक द क्वेश्चन.
या मैम ओके.
प्लीज I request all the participants to please have patience for 10 more minutes. So support service in transport no longer applies to GTA service and only to transport service taxable at 18%. So that has been clarified. So now you have to be very, very cautious even while using the HSN. An explanation has been inserted in SAC or HSN 9967 to clarify the same. In which says this entry does not include GTA service involving GTA service which fall under the definition of 9965. So whatever is defined under 9965 will not fall under 9967. So wide notification 3/22 CTR, a new sub-entry 1A is inserted under entry 10 of notification 11/2017, which talk about rental service of transportation vehicles with operator. That means आपने पूरा का पूरा truck लो उस पे rent पे लिया. So renting of carriage where the cost of fuel is included in the consideration. So what is the important part over here is renting. Renting has to be there. Cost of fuel is also added. So whatever remuneration you are going to pay, that include the cost of your fuel is charged from the recipient. So that means पूरा आना जाने का टाइम जो भी लगेगा, ड्यूरेशन या माइलेज व्हाटएवर, मेरा पर किलोमीटर रेट क्या है, उसके हिसाब से अगर मैं उसको पेमेंट कर रही हूँ, जिसमें उसकी सारी कॉस्टिंग एडेड है, सो इट विल फॉल अंडर द एम्बिट ऑफ 6%. So again, there are many issues whether both GT and both are GTAs. Subcontracting. If I talk about subcontracting and have to issue consignment note. If GTA 1 is not a GTA, then whether it would fall under the amended entry 9967, that is supports an entry at 18%, or under amended entry 9966, that is 12%, or it would be exempted under entry number 22, renting of means of transport to GTA of exemption. So again, same answer. GTA to GTA, again it will be carried in the same manner under entry number 22. Rest of the entry, that will be decided as per the facts of the case. If it is between GTN to GTA, then it will always be covered under the entry number 22 of 12/2017, because that's a very specific entry. Both have undergone amendment. So yes, 9967 and 9966, they both have undergone the amendment. Now, what about the ITC like purchase of truck, etc. to GTA and GTA? So as GTA to GTA is exempted, so they will not be having any bearance on the ITC. I have seen many truck owners who are GTAs, and when they are buying new trucks, but whenever they are doing the exempt, exempt kind of transaction, so in proportion only they are eligible to avail the ITC. So head office is in Delhi, branches in UP, MP, Rajasthan, distinct person, distinct registration is there. Issue of subcontracting to continue, schedule 1 and valuation, because distinct person, so your valuation rule will be involved. So whatever value you are deciding between your own transaction, your own distinct entity, has to be taken care with respect to section 15, read with the rules made there under, because the basic proviso which is in favor to assessee is that when the other person is eligible to claim complete ITC, then whatever value you are deciding between you both, that cannot be challenged. But here, in case when the supplies are not fully salvatable or not fully eligible to claim the ITC, then you need to be very cautious, because then your valuation will be impacted. So all the time your valuation provision has to be read or has to be dealt in a very diligent manner. So this is very interesting aspect, cross charge versus ISD. So these two are very interesting topics, and I have seen many a times department make it a mandatory requirement that no, you should be only opting ISD. I mean, there is no such restriction that I have to follow the ISD route or I have to follow the cross charge route. So accordingly, depending upon the nature of the transaction, the composition, the way the transaction is being flowing, accordingly, you need to decide whether you need to have an ISD registration or no, because ISD registration is only with respect to your input service distribution. In case of common goods that you are procuring at head office with respect to your all other branches, you will not be able to pass on. Again, then you need to pass on through the invoicing, or in case that has been used in different areas, then as per the cross charge mechanism only. So this is very subjective thing that you need to understand, that how you have to analyze all these transactions. So now the amendment has been made. Service provided by a GTA by way of transport in a good carriage of agriculture produce, exempt. That basic exemption of 750 rupees and 150 rupees, like single consignment 750 rupees and complete consignment, or a complete charge of transportation when it was not exceeding 1500 rupees. These two exemption has been done away. That means now there is no this threshold. So even if 1 rupee has been charged, that will be leviable to taxes. So now this basic exemption of 750 and 1500 has been dealt away with. So that we have, again, if GTA is transporting, so we have to see whether any specific exemption has been given or not. So I think only with respect to rice, they had some exemption. But now because pre-packaged and labeled rice, now they have become taxable under that new fixation of brand amendment, that Metrology Act that has been amended. So now how they will be dealt with. So that again, now you need to revisit your exemption notification, and accordingly we have to understand. So earlier, whatever was exempted, so basically earlier also the transportation of rice was exempted, I suppose. So now that will be remaining the same only, because whether the amount is, the product has become taxable or not taxable will not change the category of that product, will not change the nature of the product. Location of the supplier and place of supply are in two different states. So section 8, intrastate, when they are in same state. So when, what is the location of the GTA? GTA is registered and unregistered. So same way, the things are still the same. Who is recipient of the GTA service, whether consignor or consignee, and POS and RCM applicable to whom. So the issue is the same way, where the goods are being handed over, in case it is a registered person. So those provisions remain the same. There has been no amendment. So if we talk about domestic transaction, that we have given the example that is covered under section 12, subsection 8, POs of services provided by way of transportation of goods, including by mail and courier. Registered person, location of such person, wherever I am located. And in case unregistered person, location where the goods has been handed over. That means same place. So intrastate transaction only. But new provision 212.8 has been inserted, which has made whole chaos, which we have already discussed. In case if they are transported outside India, the goods are transported outside India, the place of supply, the POs will be location where the transportation will be terminating. So that means other territory. Transportation of goods where either of the supplier or the recipient is located outside India, that will be covered under section 13, subsection 9. So transportation of goods other than by way of mail or courier shall be the place of destination of such goods. So India से अगर goods बाहर जा रहे हैं, US में जा रहे हैं, तो place of supply आपका US बनेगा. So place of supply is in India, place be the destination of such goods. So अगर India से वहां जा रहे हैं, तो place of supply is in US. और अगर US से India आ रहे हैं, place of supply will be India. So that means these are two different, ocean freight on export and ocean freight on import. So import Mohin Minerals has been dealt with, and Mohin Mineral has been taken a final state that yes, now the department is also not going in the further appeal for the Supreme Court judgment. So now that has attained finality. But with respect to export, now the amendment has been made recently. So it has become taxable, though the place of supply is outside India. So law governing carriage of goods in India. For carriage of goods by land, these are the acts that you need to read along with the GST Act. For carriage of goods by air, so carriage by air act is there. Sea, so accordingly Indian Bill of Lading Act, carriage of goods by sea act, and merchant shipping act has to be read. For multimodal transportation act is there, 1993. An act to provide for the regulation of common carrier, limiting their liability and declaration of value of goods delivered to them, to determine their liability for loss of or damage to such goods occasioned by the negligence or criminal act of themselves, their servant or agent, and for that matter connected with thereto or incidental thereto. So that means अगर किसी ने goods receipt क्या है, अगर a common carrier shall, in case where goods are to be loaded by the consignor, on the completion of such loading, or be in any other case on the acceptance of goods by him, issue a goods receipt, GR जिसको हम बोलते हैं, in such form and manner as may be prescribed. So this is GR. What is GR? As per section 9, whatever receipt he is giving in any form or in the form that has been prescribed is known as GR. The goods receipt shall be issued in triplicate and the original shall be given to the consignor. The goods receipt shall be prima facie evidence of the weight or the measure and other particulars of the goods and the number of packages stated therein. The goods receipt shall include an undertaking by the common carrier about the liability under the section 10 and section 11 of the Carriage Act. Rule 46 has been amended and with notification by 14/2022 dated 6 July and provided that declaration is required to be added. Now you need to have this declaration also in tax invoice being issued by the supplier for non-applicability. GTAs are exempted. So non-applicability of e-invoice in case of exemption provided in Rule 48 sub Rule 4. So your GTAs are not liable for e-invoicing. So they need to put this declaration. Why? because now they had made a mandate requirement. In case you are liable to issue e-invoice and in case you are not issuing the e-invoice, the recipient will be barred from claiming the ITC. Why? Because that will not be a valid invoice. Section 16 talk about your tax invoice or a valid tax invoice. So now this will not be treated as your valid invoice in case you were liable to issue invoice and you have not issued e-invoice. I thereby declare, so this declaration has to be given. So these are various modes of transportation, fully taxable. Inland water is exempt. Inland water means if I'm making my goods transport from, let's say, from Gujarat to Tamil Nadu through rivers or through inland waterways, so that is exempted. By road, GTA or others exempted. Air vessel outside India to custom station in India, so again air is exempted. Vessel taxable, RCM. Custom station to other custom station in India, air vessel or vessel fully taxable. Then custom station in India to a place outside India, air and vessel both exempted up to 30th, but now they have made taxable. So 9.3 is a mandate requirement by the recipients where the liability is on recipient. That means whatever the tax has to be paid, the onus is on the recipient. So recipient of the goods, recipient of the service. GTA from Surat packing the goods from Surat and deliver the goods to DDH. GTA is unregistered in GST. Scenario 1. If freight is paid by the Surat, who is the recipient of the goods, who is the recipient of the service, who will pay RCM and IGST plus CGST. So unregistered है तो गुड्स पैक हुए हैं सूरत से और डिलीवर हो रहे हैं दिल्ली में, तो वो सूरत में आएगा क्योंकि जहां पे गुड्स पिक हुए हैं, अगर अनरजिस्टर्ड है तो सूरत में आएगा. तो रिसिपिएंट कौन है? जो सूरत में है. हु इज द रिसिपिएंट ऑफ जीटीए सर्विस? हु इज अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन. So who will pay the RCM? Obviously, in case that has been paid by the Surat person only, so he is going to pay and he has to get himself registered also. And the same, it will be same CGST plus SGST because they both are the delivery will be place where they are delivered. So that means GTA in Surat means same state liability. So similarly, if the onus has been shifted to the other person, so if he's registered, so accordingly you will take the charge and you will charge the IGST. If the person is registered, then obviously Surat and Delhi, that means interstate supply. That means IGST has to be charged. Supply of services by GTA. Who has not paid, that has been deleted. In respect of transportation of goods, service कौन provide कर रहा है? GTA provide कर रहा है. किसी ने सवाल पूछा था यहाँ पे कि अगर मैं registered नहीं हूँ तो recipient कौन होना चाहिए? Recipient होना चाहिए कोई भी फैक्ट्री registered under और governed by Factories Act. Factories Act में आप register हैं तो सोसाइटी ले रही है तो वो सोसाइटी रजिस्टर्ड है. एनी कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी एस्टैब्लिश्ड बाय और अंडर एनी लॉ. A person registered under CGST Act or a body corporate established by or under any law. Any partnership firm, whether registered or not registered under any law, including the AOP. Any casual person, taxable person located in the taxable liability. That means अगर आप इन definition में fall करते हैं तो आप जो है जीटीए की लाइबिलिटी में आएंगे. अगर आप इस डेफिनेशन की रिसिपिएंट की डेफिनेशन से अपने आप को बाहर रख लेते हैं तो आपको अपने आप को आरसीएम में टैक्स नहीं पे करना. और इसमें कुछ एक्सक्लूजन्स हैं जो उन्होंने दी हुई हैं कि अगर बाय डिपार्टमेंट और एस्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट है तो नहीं लगेगा, लोकल अथॉरिटी नहीं लगेगा, गवर्नमेंटल एजेंसीज नहीं लगेगा. नाउ लोकल अथॉरिटी आल्सो हैज बीन टेकन केयर एंड they have defined, now they have given a definite definition to them also. The services supplied by a person located in a non-taxable by way of transportation from a place outside India to the custom clearance of India. So a person located in non-taxable territory, importer as defined under clause 2(6). So अगर वो है तो FOB वैल्यू और CIF वैल्यू का झगड़ा था, तो FOB वैल्यू है तो नहीं लगेगा, CIF है तो अगेन मोहित मिनरल से भी बाहर है क्योंकि वहां पे जो डिक्लेरेशन या जो भी जस्टिफिकेशन हुआ था वो FOB वैल्यू को लेके हुआ था. बट अगेन नाउ बिकॉज इट हैज टेकन अ कंप्लीट रेस्ट, so still we are not going into the ambiguity that who is an importer and who is not an importer. So accordingly we can take a call that now there is no RCM on import because that complete definition has been done away with. So exemption notification, service provided by GT agency by way of transportation of goods in a goods carriage to these things has been taken care of. Exemption notification talks about these things that now they should not be having. So it is between two unregistered person and it will be an exempt transaction. That means no tax will be liable, because whenever there is a transaction between unregistered to unregistered, then it will not be falling under the definition of leviability also. Inserted in the exemption notification with effect from October 2017 to exempt service provided by GTA to an unregistered person. So अभी किसी का सवाल था कि मेरी टर्नओवर बहुत छोटी सी है और मुझे उसके लिए रजिस्ट्रेशन लेना है क्या, तो नहीं लेना. सेक्शन 23 की एक्सक्लूजन है और उन्होंने इसको एंट्री नंबर 21 से निकाला भी था. और जब इन्होंने अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन की सर्विसेज को चेंज करा था 9(4) को जब अमेंड करा था 12 अक्टूबर को, उसी टाइम पे ये अमेंडमेंट भी आई थी. Service provided by unregistered person, including an unregistered casual person, other than the following recipient, these, then you have to take, you are out of the ambit. No consignment note. First of all, whether you have to understand whether it is a GT or no. Total charge of transportation of goods through auto is 50 lakhs. Then who is liable to pay? So any other category has to be taken care. The exemption notification has been given, and that exemption notification does not talks about threshold. So that means whatever is exempted, that has been prescribed in that exemption. So I will not be guided by my section 22 threshold also. So that we have already dealt with. Because here they have said goods carriage of milk, salt, food grain, including flour, pulses, and rice. So they have not said whether this product has to be exempted or not exempted. Even if this product has become taxable, but if it is being given in the exemption notification, then still it will be exempted only. So service by transportation of goods by an aircraft from a place outside India, or your air vessel they are talking about. So nothing contained in the serial number shall apply after 30th September. So service by way of transportation of goods by an aircraft from a custom station of clearance in India to a place outside India, again that has also become your air transport as well as your vessel transport, both has become taxable. So with this, we are done with the GTA provisions also. So I am now opening the forum for the question answer. So Surinder Palji, your question has been answered. Considered, obviously you need to proportionate your ITC with respect to your turnover ratio only. Common ITC and your ITC directly proportionate to or in relation to your exempt supplies has to be taken out of that pool. Then whatever is left out, your common ITC and that common ITC only need to be proportionately divided. Consignment note is, so we have already given this declaration. So if in case he is falling under that definition, so he will be giving that declaration. We are not covering GT rent-a-cab today, sir. We are only covering GTA. Mid of the year or no? रवि गुलाटी जी, आपका क्वेश्चन का सवाल है, उसको 15 मार्च से पहले ही एक्सरसाइज करना है. सिर्फ मिड ऑफ द ईयर इसी साल के लिए था, उसके अलावा नहीं है मिड ऑफ द ईयर का प्रोविजन.
मैडम एक बात मैडम अनुराग बोल.
हाँ जी अनुराग जी बताइए.
मैडम मान लीजिए मैंने ना दिल्ली से किसी से FOR बेसिस पे 1 लाख का सामान खरीदा, उस पे 20,000 रुपया फ्रेट बन रहा है, तो वो क्या करता है कि 1 लाख का जैसे मेरे को इनवॉइस रेज कर दिया और 18,000 उस पे GST लगा लिया, 1,18,000 हो गया. तो नॉर्मली क्या होता है 10,000 तो वो जो सप्लायर है वो खुद ट्रांसपोर्टर को फ्रेट पे कर रहा है और 10,000 मेरे को कहता है कि जब गुड्स मेरे को रिसीव हो जाएंगे तब आप पे कर देना. और वो बिल में 1,18,000 में से 10,000 फ्रेट लेस करके मेरे को 1,08,000 का नेट बिल दे देता है. तो यहाँ पे मैं 10,000 रुपया फ्रेट पे कर देता हूँ, उसका टोटल कंसाइनमेंट नोट है 20,000 का. तो इसमें RCM कौन पे करेगा और कितनी अमाउंट पे करेगा?
जो जितना जितना सर्विस रिसिपिएंट है सर, आपके फेयर बांटने से उसका क्या होगा? अभी उसमें उसने किसके नाम पे बिल इशू करा है? आपने आपस में जो मर्जी रजामंदी करी हो, उसने बिल किसके नाम पे इशू करा, उसका सर्विस
ट्रांसपोर्टर ने
सर जो
ट्रांसपोर्ट में तो
सर्विस रिसिपिएंट है वो आरसीएम पे करेगा।
नहीं मैडम, इसमें मैं बताता हूँ ना, कंसाइनर तो हो गया दिल्ली वाली पार्टी, कंसाइनी हो गया मैं, तो एक्चुअली
सर
P&L में बुक हो रहा है दिल्ली वाली पार्टी के।
सर आपका ट्रांसपोर्टर किसके नाम पे बिल दे रहा है?
उसका तो कंसाइनमेंट नोट ही होता है मैडम, उसमें तो कंसाइनर और कंसाइनी होता है।
हाँ तो सर जिस आपको आपने अगर उसमें आपने लिखा कि आपका टू पे कितना है, 10,000 ही है
20,000 का कंसाइनमेंट नोट बना, 10,000 एडवांस मिल गया, 10,000 मैंने पे करना है।
सर, उसको
हाँ।
उसके लिए जो उसका सर्विस रिसिपिएंट कौन है, बेसिकली सर्विस रिसिपिएंट कौन है उसका, आप है या वो है? दोनों में से एक ही हो सकता है ना, दोनों है तो आप अपनी अपनी वैल्यूज के
सर्विस
ऊपर में
रेसिपिएंट तो दिल्ली वाला होगा क्योंकि उसने मेरे को FOR माल बेचा है।
तो वही वही होगा उसका रिसिपिएंट। उसने आपसे वो रीइंबर्समेंट करा या उसने आपको बोला कि आप उतना दो, तो वो आप दोनों की अरेंजमेंट है। सर आरसीएम की लायबिलिटी उसी की है जो उसका सर्विस रिसिपिएंट है। आरसीएम बहुत क्लियर है, जो सर्विस रिसिपिएंट है ओनस उसके ऊपर है, कंसिडरेशन
मतलब एनी पर्सन हु इज लायबल टू पे द फ्रेट, हु इज पेबल आर लायबल टू पे आरसी।
who is the recipient? सर आरसीएम का कंसिडरेशन नहीं लिखा वहां पे, बट वहां ये नहीं लिखा हु इज लायबल टू पे द कंसिडरेशन, वहां लिखा है हु इज द रिसिपिएंट ऑफ द सर्विस। So who
ठीक
is the
है।
recipient of the service? We have to read the law the way it has been written. Only in case of ambiguity there is any further clarification or further amendment or further what we say that आप उसके ऊपर में तोड़ मरोड़ कर सकते हैं, बट जहां चीजें बहुत क्लियर है आप वहां पे कोई इंटरप्रिटेशन नहीं लगा सकते।
थैंक यू मैम।
So I hope your question is clear. Merchant trade being sale and purchase both outside India. Freight is paid from, sir freight India से कैसे पे हो सकता है? टू ओवरसीज ट्रांसपोर्ट है तो सर वैसे भी आउटसाइड इंडिया है सर, उस पर टैक्स नहीं लगेगा। क्योंकि आपने जब मर्चेंट ट्रेडिंग करी और आपका जो रिसिपिएंट जो सर्विस प्रोवाइडर है वो भी जब बाहर बैठा है और उसने सर्विस बाहर ही बाहर दी है, तो मर्चेंट ट्रेडिंग आपकी आउट ऑफ जीएसटी एम्बिट है, तो उसके ऊपर राकेश गर्ग जी उस पर टैक्स नहीं लगेगा। आई मीन दिस इज माय सबमिशन। आई एनी डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन is well taken care of, and we are free to have different views also, but my submission is whenever there is a merchant trading which is a schedule 3 part which is out of the ambit of the GST, and also your service provider is outside India for these kind of services, that will be taken care as exempt only. And there is a notification also which talk about in case of merchant trading, if your intermediary, even if the intermediary is in India, because this is a non-GST supply, so anything earned on that will also be falling out as an exempt supplies. So in same manner, I am understanding this also, that RCM will not be applicable. So I think I have taken all the queries, and I had tried to cover both the topics as much as I could have in the given timeline. And if something has been left out, so all your queries are most welcome. You are free to raise the queries. My details are there in the presentation, and the same will be shared to you all. So thank you so much. Thank you to all the participants for being such a patient listener. Thank you, Amit ji. Over to you, Ashwini ji and Piyush ji.
हाँ जी पीयूष जी, मेरे ख्याल में कोई क्वेरी रही नहीं, तो आई विल रिक्वेस्ट पीयूष जी कि इट वाज ए वंडरफुल एंड नाइस डेलिब्रेशन बाय अर्चना जैन जी. इट वाज आवर डे 5. टुमारो इज द लास्ट डे, डे 6. अरूप दास जी आ रहे हैं, अरूप दास गुप्ता जी.
अरूप दास जी आ रहे हैं.
हाँ, एंड
सवाल पूछा है मुझसे लिकर का, मुझे नहीं पता लिकर का सवाल आज यहाँ क्यों पूछा है.
लिकर का रिगार्डिंग,
मैडम व्हाट विल बी द
रेट
रेट
ऑफ आरसीएम ऑन आउटवर्ड सप्लाई ऑफ लिकर.
आरसीएम क्यों और लिकर पे क्यों? लिकर आपके लिवेबिलिटी से बाहर है.
Alcoholic liquor for human consumption is not under GST, it is non-supply.
मैडम शायद उसके ना फ्रेट का पूछ रहे हैं, जरा लिकर की कैरी का फ्रेट है उस पे आरसीएम लगेगा.
तो फ्रेट ही है ना, चाहे किसी का
तो सेम ही लगेगा यार. वो
फ्रेट आपके एग्जेम्पशन का पार्ट नहीं है. अगर ये गुड आपके एग्जेम्प्टेड गुड्स का पार्ट नहीं है तो फ्रेट लगेगा. आपका राइस एग्जेम्प्टेड का पार्ट है, अब राइस आज टैक्सेबल हो गया तो फ्रेट थोड़ी ना चेंज हो गया।
नहीं, मैंने कहा
एग्जेम्पशन
उसका क्वेश्चन यह था कि फ्रेट पे आरसीएम लगेगा कि नहीं लगेगा उनका, मैंने कहा वो तो लगेगा ही।
हाँ जी पीयूष जी, मतलब अब कंक्लूड करें, मेरे ख्याल में ऑलरेडी काफी टाइम हो गया। थैंक यू अपने अर्चना जी। आई विल रिक्वेस्ट पीयूष जी टू फॉर्मली प्रपोज वोट ऑफ थैंक्स टू अर्चना जी। पीयूष जी आपका स्टैंड स्टिल हो गया।
Thank you, Ashwini ji, and thanks to Archana ji for his great session. Insight information, जैसा कि मैंने शुरू में कहा था, वो सुनील गावस्कर भी हैं, वो तेंदुलकर भी हैं, और एट द सेम टाइम वो अपने ये कोहली साहब भी हैं, तो वो सेम तरीके से उन्होंने सारा परफॉर्म करके दिखा दिया है। सिंगल हैंडेडली कैसे टीम को जिताया जाता है इनसे सीखिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर डेलिब्रेशन मैम। We are all enlightened from your views, and आप देख सकते हैं कि चैट बॉक्स में भी मैसेज आ रहा है, ग्रेट सेशन मैम। थैंक यू जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर टाइम। Thank you to all the participants, and tomorrow we will be having another great faculty, Arup Das ji. He is from Kolkata. He will
Thank
be
you.
joining us. Thank you.